This is the Sports Hit List. By the fans, for the fans.
Here's your alley, sir. I think you said something to me. I want you to exclusively say it.
Yeah, so you mentioned you don't know how to fix it. I think right now we have a great opportunity to go left and could do something special, right? Now, I don't have it completely fleshed out on how it would work, right? But we're seeing this kayfabe, this straddling the line of kayfabe, right? Where we've got Pat coming out talking his shit, you know, Cody came back out, talked his shit. Punk done came out, talked this shit, right? We're going to continue to see that. The Rock was name dropped and called out, right? So who knows if maybe that's a little foresight and future of we might see him at some point in the next 2 weeks. Who knows? Possibly, right? But I think we are in a position right now where if they were to book, and I was saying in the chat, right? We go back 2 years ago to WrestleMania 40, right? In Philly, where we got that end game type of finish, right? We got that Avengers end game where everybody came out to, help get Cody over the line and finish the story. I think we're in a position now where we can tap back into that Marvel Cinematic Universe and do a Civil War booking, right? We can do TKO versus WWE. Now, I don't know exactly who you have on either side, kind of pushing the corporate line and whatever TKO puts out there compared to the OGs that are like, nah, we're good. We don't need all this. We don't need you meddling in it and telling us what's what, right? Now, even beyond that, I can tell you how they can execute it. It can be done during the weekend of WrestleMania. It looks like they're going with 2 different themes for each night, right? Based off of the graphics that they've shown for the card. But I think they got it wrong. In my idea, it should be flipped because it looks like that futuristic look is set for Sunday. That blue Tron futuristic type look is set for Sunday, and that wasteland post-apocalyptic look is set for Saturday. They should switch that, right? Set up the card where, again, have the dominoes fall where a lot of the TKO-ish types are on Saturday with that blue theme and they're winning and they're going over. And again, I don't have the full details, but we have a character, whoever it could be. Maybe it's using Drew and I thought about possibly using Drew and Solo Sikoa. They have this unsanctioned match, right? Jacob, sorry, I said Solo. Yeah, Jacob Fatu. Yeah, Drew and Jacob Fatu have this unsanctioned match. Imagine Saturday, you go through, it's that futuristic blue theme, nice, beautiful, shiny. We finish the night. Sunday, they kick off the match. There's this talk about burning this place down. I'll burn this whole place down with me. I don't care. I want to whoop your ass, that type of shit. And we have some type of situation where something happens because all of this stuff is LED, right? They're not putting up actual decorations. It's all LED that they're lighting up. And you have this switch of we taking this blue thing away. We're burning this entire thing down, and it turns into that burnt wasteland type theme. And we keep going that route. And you can build straight from that. You have that TKO base that potentially, I don't know if they all won on Saturday or a lot of them won on Saturday and are kind of looking at, what the hell is going on here, But I think that would be a really good way for them to completely shift. You got to stick with the kayfabe. You got to stick with the stuff that is actually happening, the gripes that the fans are currently having, because it's getting too loud now to ignore. It's getting way too loud to ignore, especially when you're talking 2 weeks out. So I would think that's potentially what we might see coming. Now, the Punk and McAfee thing was a little weird to me. I don't know why, just because I think they are way too focused on trying to very specifically define heels and faces. And that's where they're running into a lot of their issues with booking too. I think they are hell-bent on making sure that every single feud and every single match and every single scenario has a very identifiable face and a very identifiable heel. And they've already messed that up in both main events where you've got 4 guys that everybody loves and nobody wants to boo. Look how long it took them to finally boo Randy. And even then, I don't think they were booing Randy. They were booing Pat. They were still just booing Pat. You know what I mean? So that's another thing they have to get away from too. Don't worry about who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. Just book feuds. Because guess what? Two good guys could hate each other too, the same way as two bad guys could hate each other. Just book the feuds as they would work naturally. Don't worry about making sure somebody's a good guy, somebody's a bad guy. But a Civil War type thing, a TKO versus WWE, if they really go hard, they would have to really go hard, and they'd have to say a lot of the quiet parts out loud. Punk started that on Raw, talking about the ticket prices. It's cool, it's cute, but I already told you it's a tactic, it's bullshit. They're gonna say they dropped the prices. I already told you the lowest I've seen them. The lowest I've seen them was right around 147. They ain't been that low ever since. Right now, they're at about 215. All right. They're probably going to bring them down to about 180, 170 or something like that and be like, hey, we listened to Punk and we brought them down. No, you didn't. It's still $30 more expensive than the lowest I've seen them. Just a couple weeks ago, there was 147. You know what I'm saying? I might even still have the screenshots.
I will say this as we wrap up with the segment. The only other storyline I thought that was kind of similar, there was one time where they did the whole NXT invasion angle recently. This was in the modern, but if you take it back to when we were in our era, it was the invasion angle, which was I thought was great, but it didn't come to fruition because all the WCW guys didn't sign their contracts. They let their Time Warner contracts expire. If you remember, the Hogan wasn't part of it, Goldberg wasn't part of it, Rey Mysterio, to the point where you had WWE guys jumping ship just to fill it out. You know, Triple H was hurt, so it was a complete mess. But if you're gonna do it, it has to be done right. It has to be done
right. You have to go hard, man. 100%.
You
do.
The
good thing is, because you mentioned invasion, right? Because this would be very different. Because invasion is normally when you're like, all right, we're trying to boost something, right? We're trying to bring something new, whether it's NXT or introducing WCW. This would be the Civil War aspect would be completely different because the only time we ever see it is very deliberately going into Survivor Series. That's the only time they bubble something like that up. So to have this outlier of hey, here's a crew that's back in TKO, here's a crew that's back in WWE, maybe even, hey, if it's Triple H you have thrown on that WWE side and you have him on the mic too. I know he can't wrestle, but maybe he gets involved on the mic if he wants to really, really push the envelope. But again, he's got to be willing to say some crazy shit. That's the only way it's going to work.
It is. It can work.
Willing to tell the
truth, but
it
can work. It has to work.
It will work. Yeah.
Like I said, and I'll probably release this at some point after Mania, right? But it can work if you have The Rock has to be at the head of the TKO fam on the side. Someone has to take the WWE side, and then that's when they start to buy, like TKO's buying their corporate wrestlers, kind of like what they did with the corporation, where they were buying. Yeah, it could definitely work. It just has to be done right. I think again, it's to the point where champions are jumping ship for Civil War. They're getting bought out. And who's going to be loyal to WWE? Go hard. Bring back the Undertaker. As far as I think
you could maybe you even bleed it into the draft. Imagine the draft ain't been worth nothing for the past handful of years.
They haven't done it this year. They haven't done it in a year.
They haven't done it. The draft has been irrelevant. So maybe now you even get to some type of draft situation where there is a very specific splitting of talent. It can work if they go really hard with it. It can work.
But it's a matter of you come up with the concept. Do you think anyone? And I'll leave it at this. Is there anyone on their team to think of it aside from us fans? Because we do fantasy bookings all the time in our conversations, right? True. So like, is someone going to? Because and I always have this in my mind, and call me crazy or call me, I guess, boastful of my own brand. Anytime I put something out here, 2 minutes later, it's on ESPN. In second, it's happened. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm gonna put this out here. I'm gonna put this out here. They got one of their interns on WWE scrolling through, like, oh my God, we got our next booking from the sports hit list. Let's just run with it, right?
Yeah.
Is there honestly anyone who's going to think to do this aside from just us being our fantasy world? Do you think honestly, like, is this a pipe dream that we're just going to say, it's a wasted thing? Or do you really believe this is where you think it's heading?
Ideally, I would say yes, simply because of what we saw from Punk. Punk's promo for me tells me that there is someone has this kind of the TKO versus WWE thing. I think that's what we're seeing brewing now. How it eventually comes about, how it eventually shows up in the booking, we'll have to wait and see. But I think this is the early stages of that, because Punk's promo immediately as it's going on. Now, again, I got the thought before he called out McAfee, and when he did that, I was like, oh man, that's kind of weird. I would have thought maybe he would be on the McAfee side of, hey, going old school and the, you know, of the with the Rocks and the Stone Colds of the world and da 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 da. But either way, that promo for me definitely screamed of, hey, look, we know you're frustrated talking to the fans, talking to the universe. We know you're frustrated. We're hearing what you're saying. We are finally trying to do something about it. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully that's the case.
So that would mean Pat is on Team TKO. I would get like, right?
Yeah.
I would think so with Randy and all those other guys. And then Cody and CM Punk would be Team WWE as far as what's going on now.
Thanks for watching the Sports Hit List. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. In fact, do it now.